On the phone, we have one of the newest inductees into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, former Dallas Cowboy and San Francisco 49er, five-time Super Bowl champion Charles Haley. How you doing today, Charles?
How you doing, David?
Good. It's a long time coming getting in the Hall of Fame. Did you think it was ever going to come?
Man, hey, you know what? I'm in now. I don't worry about what I thought or didn't think. Man, I'm in the house and I'm the happiest man alive.
I see that you went to James Madison for college. Were there any big Division I schools after you at that time?
We played UVA probably was the biggest school we played. Rest of the schools like Women, Men, BMI, stuff like that. Division I AA schools.
Did you consider going to any other colleges other than James Madison?
No, I didn't. It was Liberty or James Madison, but then after the East-West game that we played, then other colleges wanted me to go then.
What was the difference? Did you just shine during that East-West game and they said, you know what, this is the guy we need to know?
Well, yeah. It was it's East-West High School game, All-Star game, and so I had it was the big school linebackers were there. I was a middle linebacker, so I had to go play. And my second position was tight end, so I played tight end, and I lit them up, and so they were looking at me to play offense. And I wasn't going to do that. I didn't like getting hit.
Most people like playing offense or they want to be in the spotlight. The defensive guys don't seem to shine as much, people think.
Well, I'm not one of those guys. I'm one of those guys that, I don't like being exposed where I'm get rocked, So, because I took some big hits during that game and held on to the ball. But, it was... I'm excited about going to JMU. I think for me, a small town guy going to James Madison was a perfect fit for me.
When did you realize that you could play in the NFL?
I never realized I could go to college until somebody told me at the end of my junior year. And, people told me, the 49ers and the Giants came down and looked at me. But, when I benched 225 two times and won three times, I figured that, my chances were done. The only thing I did good was run a pretty good 40 time. And, I was 6'4.5", so weighing 200 pounds. So, I guess they saw something more than I saw.
What was it like when you found out the 49ers drafted you?
Well, as the draft came on, people were saying I was going in second, third round. So when those two rounds finished, me and my ex-wife, we rode the bike down to the movie theater, went to the movie theater and watched the movie. And then my roommate came down and said, "You've been drafted by the 49ers." So, I had no idea who played on the 49ers or where it was, and all I know is that I got to travel cross country, and that was kind of frightening for me.
What was that first training camp like?
For me, man, to be honest, it was any means necessary. I don't do friends well. So, I went in, it's just me, and with the determination that I was going to make this team. And so whatever it took, I was willing to do it.
What was Bill Walsh like as a coach?
Oh, man, he was amazing. He was very amazing, man. I still remember him up on stage boxing, talking about, when we go play guys, they're going to make some plays just like on the champ. They hit the champ a couple of times, but at the end, the champ knocks him out, and then the other thing that he did was he would bring great people in that won, like Olympic gold medals, singers, whatever. They come in and they talk about their journey, how they became great, what they do. And for me, that was better than having somebody stand there and tell me and never done it. But when those people get up there and tell you, it inspires you to be great. And then he would always bring back all the old players that won Super Bowls. I never thought that you didn't supposed to win Super Bowls, because that's what the expectation always was.
I mean, he was an offensive genius, but again, he had a good staff with him with George Seifert, and I mean, you had Mike Holmgren. He just had assistant coaches who knew what they were doing.
Well, George was a micromanager, man, and I loved him for that because you know what, he made me study, and then after every game, on Monday we were studying there 2.5 hours, and he would go over everybody's position, everybody's responsibility. So after about the third game, I sat there and I learned on every defense, every position on the field. So that gave me an opportunity to take chances. And plus it empowered me too. The more you know how other people's gonna play, the better you can play.
Who was the leader of the defense? Was it Ronnie Lott?
Of course.
How did he lead? Did he lead by example, or was he a fiery guy?
He had about everything, fiery, shaking, and by example, man, he had the skin on the wall to do all of that, I've never met anybody like that intensive. And he took me under his belt, man, and, he showed me the way, we went to Georgetown to do karate, he showed me how to do a lot of the drills and stuff. And, the best part about it is that I didn't train with the linebackers. I trained with the DBs. I trained with people that were faster than me and had more skill set. Because then, my goal is not to get that skill set, but to get as close as I can to it. Because each time I do that, it makes me better.
I remember talking to Roger Craig, and he said that he's the one who got Jerry Rice doing that training regimen. He said, Jerry, if you want to be great, you got to follow me. Did you ever work out with Jerry and Roger?
Oh, yeah. After about 30 minutes, I went home. I couldn't, man. They had flight jackets on, weights on. They were just running. I'm going, oh, my God. I thought I could run. But, nah, it wasn't in for me. So I went back to doing the things that I could do to be great at.
When you had the 12 sacks as a rookie, did you say, you know what, this is pretty easy here?
Man, ain't nothing easy. Every year I tore something or hurt myself every year because I never lifted weights and I don't know if that was the cause of it, but every year, man, I played with pain. After a while, mentally I can control the pain. I didn't need pills or anything like that to do it because, the more, what I believe is the more you can control your mind and control your breathing, the more that you can be exposed to, the longer you can stay on the field.
What was it like when you made that first Super Bowl?
Hey, it's amazing. I tell everybody, I say, we came back in front, we kicked off, and then, they ran it all the way back, kickoff back for a touchdown. And then we had a minute left. The first play, we get a 10-yard holding call, so we're on the 10-yard line. And I was sitting over there, man, God, why did you bring me here for the lose? And but I had forgot who was on offense. I forgot that we had Jerry Rice, Roger Craig, Joe Montana, Brent Jones, and the next down, I'm sitting over there moping and ready to cry, and I heard the fans start cheering, and I looked up, hey, within about 5-6 plays, we were dancing, singing, "We are the champions of the world," you know. So from that day on, I always believed in my teammates. From that day on, I always believed. I never not believed in them.
And then the next Super Bowl, that was a joke. You guys just destroyed them in Super Bowl 29
Are
or
you talking about
24.
Denver against
Yeah,
Denver?
Denver. Yeah, with John Elway.
Yeah, there was. I don't know. We was a well-oiled machine, and you know, they didn't have a chance. We usually play them in preseason or something, and they never had a chance in there. So I don't know why they thought, you know, in the Super Bowl they would have a chance.
Was Joe Montana that great that you were winning those Super Bowls,
Oh
or was
yeah.
it just the entire team?
Joe was great, you know, and what made Joe great? Joe is not like any of these other coaches that are these quarterbacks that are stuffed up, they're stuffy, don't want to talk, you know, to other players and stuff. Joe was the everyday guy, man. He played jokes, he did all kind of crazy things. He didn't make anybody feel small. You know, we were all on the same line, and you know, and then he would get in the huddle when we were losing and tell jokes, get everybody's mind off of it, and then go down and win. You know, and one of the greatest things I ever heard him say was, he threw the ball and somebody hit him hard, and the only thing he asked, did he catch the ball? You know, and I'm going like, you know, I've seen quarterbacks just go off because they get hit, but he was just, man, I loved him, man. He was the best quarterback I ever played with.
I mean, he didn't have the strongest arm. He wasn't the fastest quarterback. I mean, he wasn't pretty back there. He just got it done.
Hey, when you got brains, that helps a lot, right? You know, Joe knew where he was going from the beginning. So, you know, that's what made him different. You know, I'll put Brett Favre. You know, I love Brett Favre and John Elway. You know, those guys were unique too.
Was it difficult when you got traded to the Cowboys, being that you were with San Francisco for so long?
Well, I was dejected. I would say I was dejected. You know, at one point I wanted to go, and then when it came to me going, then you know, you have buyer remorse, and you know, I didn't know what to expect. But you know, the best thing ever happened was Jerry Jones picked me up from the airport, and he gave me the vision that he had for the team. He gave me a vision on what his expectations for me were, and you know, and I've never had an owner do that before, and so you know, I bought in right then because you know, anybody that can articulate what they want to do and how they're going to be successful, how they will be successful in business, you know, and just talk to you, you know, and not make you feel like you beneath them. You know, he was he is a great man.
49er players rave about Eddie Debartolo, saying that he basically took care of that team. Did you feel the same way about Eddie?
Oh, God. You know, Eddie treated us like family. You know, we win Super Bowl. He takes us to Maui. You know, hey, man, I mean, so many great things he's done. So many great things he's done for players when things get rough for him, that he took care of them. You know, I didn't think anybody would ever measure up to Eddie D. You know, and you know, Jerry's close to Mr. D, but you know, Mr. D is, man, he's in a class all by himself because the way he treated players and he took care of them. You know, when his word meant something. When he said yes, it means yes. And you know, for me, I like a man that makes a decision and willing to stand behind it. And that's the kind of man he is.
Did he ever come to your defense when you had the issues with George Seifert and Steve Young?
I don't think, you know, he had people there, you know, GMs and coaches and stuff that was there to make that decision, you know, and, you know, Mr. D wasn't there on an everyday basis, you know, so I don't hold anything against anybody anymore. I think at one point, I was so angry that, you know, all my teammates that I loved the most, Ronnie, Joe, E. Wright, KT, all those guys got cut at one time. And then, they wanted me to step up and be something I wasn't. And, I regret it. I regret some of the actions that I did, but, it worked out well for me.
When you went to that Cowboys, they had such a young team and such a young defense, but they had a ton of talent. Did you think to yourself, you know what, this is the next dynasty here?
Well, when I walked in and I think I saw Troy, and I told he was out there throwing. I said, Troy, you ain't no Joe Montana. And he was throwing the ball in those like three little hole things way out, and he stepped back, threw it in the hole the first time. I said, man, lightning can strike twice. It's strike once. He went back and threw it right down the middle into it, man. And I shut up after that. And I told Emmett, I said things to guys just to get underneath their skin, man. Because sometimes you need extra motivation to go out and do your job, and I try to provide that for guys, and the thing that I tell everybody is that once a guy lost his job, he didn't get it back. You get hurt or something, you don't get your job back. And, that's a big thing. I've never seen that before. They had that much talent, that much depth. I've never seen, and that much speed. I mean, good Lord, could they run?
Oh, no, you guys could. Did you take a page out of John Randall's book? Because he said the key to his success was he would get in the offensive lineman's head. He would basically do research on him, who his girlfriend is, where he went to college. And when he would talk to the offensive lineman the whole game, so the offensive lineman was more worried about where he got his information from than what was going on the field.
I'm not that type of guy, man. I go out and do my job. I don't need to talk trash. I let other people do it because you know what? That's what helped motivate some people. Nothing what somebody can say can motivate me. Because I believe in who I am, and I motivate myself. Whatever goals anybody have for me, I reach even higher ones because I don't believe that any man should set a goal for any person. We should always overachieve. And, by having great coaches, man, I've been the luckiest guy in the world to have Bill Walsh, George Seifert, Jimmy Johnson, and Barry Switzer. It don't get no better than that.
What was Jimmy Johnson like as a coach?
Hey, he was great to me, but, he kept his foot on the guy's neck. And I think that, he should be in the Hall of Fame because he took the youngest team to the house twice. And nobody knows. He might have done it 3-4 times, but it didn't happen like that. Jimmy was, his motto was repetition is the motherhood of learning, and we did a lot of repetition, and if things didn't go right, he started the whole practice over, and he made guys be disciplined.
It was that Southern mentality there. You had two Southern guys get into it with Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson here, and that's when they brought in Barry, who was also friends with Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones.
Well, I don't know about that dynamics, about friendships or whatever. The bottom line is, great Jimmy Johnson went out and the great Barry Switzer came in. You can't slight Barry because he's not Jimmy. Barry might inherit the talent that Jimmy had, but yet you still have to know how to deal with players and to get them to be motivated year after year after year. Because, after you win 2 Super Bowls, most of the time guys lose focus or you lose most of your talent to free agency.
Is there one Super Bowl that stands out as your favorite?
Well, when I look at my heart and the things that I've told my teammates is it Super Bowl 30 when I came back after 2 weeks of major back surgery and played, because I told the D-line, I told the defense I'll never forsake them, man, and I had to be a man of my word. I couldn't just leave them out there. I mean, I had to be a part of it, you know. But when I look back, maybe that was a selfish thing that maybe I should have took off. You know, my career would have lasted longer. But I rather did what I did, and my career to be shorter than to sit there and watch my teammates lose or not be a part of the winning.
You played with the all-time leading receiver in NFL history in Jerry Rice, the all-time leading rusher in Emmitt Smith. Who do you think is the greatest player of all time? And Joe Montana, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Joe is my quarterback. Jerry Rice is my receiver. Barry Sanders is my running back. And probably Kevin Winslow is tight end. Those are the guys for me. You know, they were game changers, man. I've never seen anybody like Barry Sanders, Jerry Rice, and Joe. Jerry take a 5-yard pass and take it to the house, and Barry Sanders, hey, he'll back up, come at you, shaking his shoulders, back up, and then go 80 on you. Hey, I've never seen anybody. He'll stop on a dime. And, you know, hey, I just, you know, when I see him, I never tackled him before. So every time I see him, I go up and I put my arms around like I'm tackling him. He go, man, why you keep doing this? You know, I do that to Marino, too, because, you know, I played against those guys, but I never got a sack. So I always go up and tell him, man, you know, hey, you could at least let me tackle you once or sack you once.
How did you know when it was time to call it a career?
I didn't know. If I'd have known, I would have never went back to the 49ers and played that year because, you know, the repercussions of that is that I had to get 4-level back fusion. I had to get cages put in. It was probably the worst surgery I ever had, but it was the best surgery I ever had because you know, I don't have the back pain anymore. You know, and you know, and I'm happy to Dr. Shelikoff for you know doing it for me.
What was it like, to play for America's team? Is there more pressure playing for Dallas than you do playing for San Francisco because everybody thinks that Dallas is the football team?
Hey, I'll tell you like I tell the guy, game is a game is a game. Whether it's a Super Bowl game, playoff game, or the first game of the season, all of them, for me, all of them are the same. It doesn't matter what team you play for. It's the standards that are set from the beginning. You know, if high standards are set from the beginning, then they can't be lowered. You know, they can only be higher. But you know, and like I said, coaches dictate how players play. You know, when you got a fiery coach, then you know you're gonna have a team that are very determined. You know, and you know you have to look back at those things. You know, Bill was not a yeller. You know, and you know he didn't get on guys. He made guys become men by making their own mistakes, making their own choices. You know, and you know I think him a lot because I don't like people telling me what to do, and he never did that. You know, and you know I would do dumb things to get in trouble, and you know I said, Coach, why don't you just tell me what to do? And he said, you never asked. And I never thought about that. I never thought that all I had to do is ask somebody, you know, to do it because I'm always just doing it and, you know, taking control of my own destiny. And you know, I said, Coach, that's all I got to do. He said, yeah. And from that point on, I was not afraid to ask. I was never afraid to ask my D-line coach, what do I need to be great? What do I need to do? My D-line coach, I never was afraid. Because most people are afraid to ask their position coach what they need to do because they don't want to hear the answer.
You went in the Cowboys Ring of Honor in 2011, and you only played 5 seasons with them. What kind of honor was that?
Man, it was, you know what? It was off the chain. You know, I never expected that. You know, it's for me, I never expect anything, and then next thing I know, you know, I get it. You know, I guess Jerry, you know, he said that, you know, he couldn't spell Super Bowl without Charles Haley. So I guess he put his money where his mouth is and he put me in, you know. Hey, Jerry is a man, a man of his word, and I don't know why he did it. It's like I tell people, I don't know why a lot of great people help me, but they do.
You have the 5 rings. You see the picture with you wearing all 5. You don't wear all the rings at one time, do you ever?
No, I don't. I'm not a flashy guy like that. I don't put my rings on. Um, you know, for me in my life, when I played, I never put them on because I always want to win another one. And then now that my career's over, I want people to see me for who I am now, not see me as just a football player. I want them to meet Charles, the real Charles Haley. I want to be judged on what I'm doing now in my life and how I'm impacting the community, how I'm helping others. That's for me is what it's all about.
What was your favorite moment in your NFL career?
Having my kids was a favorite moment. Just being able to be there. Just being there with them, man. And just taking them from California by myself back home to Virginia, and just spend that time with them. That was the most important thing for me. Family. It's always been family.
Who's going to present you when you go in the Hall of Fame?
We'll find out.
Who was the toughest lineman you went up against? Offensive lineman.
Oh God, Jackie Slater. He. I can't. I always did 2 things. I always speed rush, get by guys, and then I'll beat them inside, and then I will power rush, and in that combination. So I did a couple of them, and then when I went to go to power rushing, all I saw was the head go backwards, and he hit me with his head, and my knees hit the ground. I saw Jesus Christ in all 3 forms, and I went to the sideline, my brother. I sat way down on the other end of that bench. I put my helmet somewhere. I couldn't find it. Hey, I did not want to go back out there. And that was my rookie year. I was sitting down there evaluating whether, I should be in this game or not. And I think, they gave me a little time, 5, 6 minutes to get myself together. And so I went back on the field, and I didn't go over. They should have ran the ball over there, Jack, because I lined up on the other side. So it was 2 of us, Larry Roberts and me, lined up outside in, and I went and got me a sack. And so the thing I learned to do is use my speed. I just put my speed on Jackie because he couldn't handle that. But I didn't try to muscle him no more. And so I picked from that day on. I picked my poison. Guys that do the headbutt stuff. I didn't power rush those guys. I just used quickness.
You're a smart guy. You play defense because you want to be the hitter, not the hittee.
You got that right. But you know what? At that time, I got hit. Hey, I went on my knees to pray. My good Lord, I said, God, help me. You could get off the field then. I ran up off of it, too.